is lefty? I've already tried to answer this, but I went over 20 minutes when I looked, so now I have a timer. I'm gonna give you guys the shorter version. I am dual national. My father is an Air Force veteran. He met my mother when he was stationed in Madrid. They had 2 children, including me. I'm the youngest. My brother is older than me by 5 years. When my brother was born, they were in Madrid, and then they moved to Louisiana. They had me, and less than a year later, we moved to Germany, which is where I was for the next 7 or so years of my life. In Germany, I want to point out that during that period of time, I was on Hahn Air Base and then Ramstein Air Base, and we lived on base in both places. And growing up like that, I got to see what a normal privileged kid sees. I got to do, normal school stuff, normal Halloween stuff. Basic necessities were taken care of, and I didn't have a huge want for things. And this is something that I realize and recognize now has shaped a lot of my perceptions. From Ramstein, we then moved to Italy, where I spent the next 5 years of my life. We were mostly around Aviano Air Base. I lived off base during that time, and I do attribute that with a lot of the things that I have, which deal with relationship issues and loneliness issues, and is one of the reasons why I didn't understand that I have autism for a very long time. Living off base, you only got to see your peers and your friends while you were in school, and then all the rest of the time I was basically by myself. We got a dog, and I got to play with her a lot, and that's why I love dogs to this day. And eventually we got a computer, but for the most part I was mostly by myself during this period of time when it relates to playing with others or having relationships. After that, we moved to America, to Florida, and I was just turned 13. My brother during this period of time got arrested for the first time in his life, and so did I. It was a huge culture shock going from somewhere where I couldn't play with the kids right outside because I didn't speak the language, to the kid right outside saying, "Get your bike and let's go." I didn't go to school. I failed the 9th grade that year. And my mom said to my dad, she's like, "Pack up your shit, we're going back to Europe because the kids cannot function over here." And back we went. I went to England, and at that time, that's where my brother ended up staying. So we went to England when I was about 14, 15. And my brother was already an adult at this point. He eventually got a job, got married, stayed there. During the time in England, I came out a little bit as I was a bisexual, I was gay, and then I was mostly just gay. I had a friend who was also gay, a man, and we were just like besties, and we smoked a lot, and we did a lot, and we had a good time. My parents unfortunately had to move me during my senior year of high school, and we were in Italy for that last one. That made me very bitter and angry. After that, we moved to Germany, and I was there for quite a while in Germany. Oh yeah, I do want to mention that right at the end of my time in Italy, right before we moved to Germany again, I became an alcohol abuser. So I stopped smoking because I was having anxiety attacks, and I started. And the drinking age overseas is 18, so I was just like, yeah, whatever. Long story short, I ended up joining the military when I was 22. I tried to join when I was 18, the Air Force, but I was told no because I have psoriasis. So I ended up joining the Navy when I was 22. The next 6 years of my life, maybe I'll go over in another long form video, but they were pretty traumatic, and I didn't even realize how traumatic until recently. I will say that during my time in, my alcoholism got a lot worse, and I ended up I was just an alcoholic. I ended up getting processed out because of issues with my alcoholism with an honorable. And that's something I'll go into another time. So one good thing that the military did for me is process me out in a manner that was honorable so I could still take advantage of the benefits that I use today. On my way out of the military, I was just in for 6 years. I decided to go to Arizona because my parents at the time were in Belgium, and I didn't want to go to Belgium. I had some family here I'd never met, and I had some friends from both the military and high school, so here I came. I entered immediately into a relationship with my ex. My ex is incredibly abusive and damaged, and we both didn't do much good for each other. The thing is I got a little bit better over time, and she did not. It ended violently. Like in the last year, she was smacking me and throwing shit at me, and the relationship ended when she punched me in the face one day. And the thing was that she always would, she's the type of person that would break up with me. So a week after she punched me in the face, because I told her it was fine, she broke up with me, and then I just didn't do what I always do, just say, "Baby, it's okay, baby, I love you, baby, baby, baby." I just let it happen. The breakup was a bit messy. We broke up in March, she didn't leave until August. But during all this process, and one of the reasons that me and my ex's relationship failed was the George Floyd protest happened, and I felt the need to do something, anything. And that's where my story started. I started protesting by myself because my ex-partner at the time was immunocompromised in COVID. I didn't want to take it home to her. I got threatened doing protests by myself on the street, so I started going to in-person protests with everybody. I said, basically, fuck it to my partner. I was like, we're gonna deal with it. And through a series of many events led me to here. I got involved. First, I got involved with BLM Phoenix Metro. I did security for them. Basically, it's just a white body in front of black bodies. That's what they needed, and that's what I did for a very long time. From there, I got involved with Mutual Aid Phoenix, which is still an active group now and does stuff around the valley. We were doing actual deliveries of donated supplies to people that were suffering from COVID or having lost their job from COVID, and I did a lot of that driving and organizing for a very long time. And then basically right after, and this was all during my breakup, and right after I broke up with my partner, literally right after I met my current partner, Sophia, she saw me on a Zoom meeting and she finagled another Zoom meeting with me that was work activist related. We met in person, and then we met in person again, and here we are now. The situation with her was a little bit different because we had a very explosive romantic relationship at the same time that she was suffering from housing instability. And then I ended up selling where I was staying because I didn't want to live in Glendale, and I was living in a really racist neighborhood and bigoted neighborhood, and I didn't want to live there anymore. I sold my place. We had a lot of issues finding anything that would work for both of us and not like directly move in together. So we moved in together because the housing market's fucking crazy. And here I am now. I obviously, when we started dating before we moved in together, I was very involved with supporting her and helping her in her efforts. And Sophia runs the page on Shelter Phoenix, and she's been doing this for years. That's really the long version of how I got here today. I have seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. I believed a lot of things that are not true, and I'm learning that now. I have struggles with learning theory and stuff, and I feel like I have like a lot of trauma to unpack still, but I'm doing what I feel like is important for me to do right here in this moment. And it's not perfect, and I'm not claiming it's perfect or even right, but it's fucking something, and I have to do something. And that's Lefty.